international initiative. He joins us from Ramallah. A very warm welcome to you. Can I start by asking you how you interpret, you explain these operations happening in the West Bank? What are they to you?
Well, we have to understand exactly what's happening. The West Bank is under Israeli military occupation since 1967. So what you see here is an Israeli army using its military might, attacking civilian occupied people. It's a war on occupied people, which is a total and grave violation of every international law. And this is not a war between two armies. It's not a war between even a strong Palestinian military force and an Israeli mighty army. No, it's an Israeli army attacking mainly civilian population with some pockets of resistance here and there that are trying to resist this attack. But the reality is that Israel's goal is to break down any form of resistance to their political plan. And their political plan is nothing but expansion of illegal settlements all over the West Bank, annexation of the West Bank gradually, piece by piece, destruction of any Palestinian kind of authority. I think Israel is practically dismantling the Palestinian Authority, taking away any of its responsibilities, making it nothing but a small authority under Israeli full military occupation. So what you see here is an occupying power trying to maintain its occupation and trying to expand its settlements and trying, and that's the most dangerous thing, to ethnically cleanse the Palestinian population out of their homeland.
Right. So let me get this straight. You see this surge in raids happening in Jenin, Hebron, elsewhere in the occupied West Bank as a precursor to the complete annexation of the West Bank by Israel. Why then now, given the ongoing conflict in Gaza, is this happening?
Well, what I have told you is not secret. I mean, this is a plan declared by Israeli ministers. All you need is to open the computer and look for statements made by the finance minister of Israel, Smotrich, or the internal security minister, Ben-Gvir, both of whom are illegal settlers. And look at what Netanyahu wrote since 1994. No place for a Palestinian state. And look at the resolution of the Israeli parliament itself, where not only the governing fascist parties voted against the Palestinian state, but even the opposition parties in Israel. So we are talking here about a shift to fascism, really. People who think that this is the moment for a decisive solution to the presence of Palestinian people, to liquidate the Palestinian issue. Why are they doing it now? Because they saw the weak reaction from the international community to the atrocity of the genocide that was committed in Gaza, that took the lives of no less than 50,000 people, including 17,000 children, and where 2 million people were displaced, many of whom 6 or 7 times from where they live. They saw that the international community did really nothing to stop that atrocity, to stop the 3 war crimes of genocide, collective punishment, and ethnic cleansing. And that's why they are doing that in the West Bank now.
Right, so just to clarify, what you're saying is that given that this is happening now is a sign that Israel is perhaps exploiting weakness, hesitancy when it comes to the war in Gaza to expand its goals in the occupied West Bank. Israel, however, says it's eradicating armed groups linked to Iran. What should we make of those claims?
I don't want to use a bad word now, and I will refrain from that, but actually what they see is an absolute lie. Nobody should believe this wrong statements, because first of all, what kind of Iranian presence here is? There is no Iranian presence. The people who are under Israeli occupation are Palestinians. The people who are oppressed for 57 years in the West Bank and Gaza are Palestinians. The people who were displaced since 1948 are Palestinians. There was a time in the 50s and 60s when Iran was one of the best allies of Israel. So they are used to bringing in the names of some other countries to cover up the reality, which is that this is a struggle between Palestinian population who have been oppressed, persecuted, occupied, struggling for their freedom against an Israeli occupation. In the beginning, in the past, they used to talk about Soviet Union, being the enemy, and then it was Egypt, and then it was Syria, and then it was Iraq. Now it's Iran. Maybe tomorrow they will talk about Azerbaijan. I don't know. But the reality is that the issue is a Palestinian issue. And what you see in Palestine is a struggle of Palestinian population demanding freedom, demanding self-determination, demanding independence, demanding safety. And
Right.
everybody in the West talks about Israel's right to defend itself. I didn't hear any of these leaders say that Palestinians also have the right to defend themselves.
Mr. Barghouti, given that everything that you've just spoken to us about, in your mind, where does all of this leave hopes of a negotiated end to the conflict in Gaza and indeed peace across the entire region?
It's over. Netanyahu doesn't want a negotiated agreement. Netanyahu doesn't want ceasefire, and the world allowed him, especially President Biden and his deputy, Kamala Harris. And the whole American establishment allowed him, not only allowed him to continue this war, but provided him with 50,000 tons of explosives that were used against the population of Gaza. Even the foreign ministers of European Union could not take a little step to punish the settlers who are persecuting us day and night here. In my opinion, Netanyahu is proceeding with this war. He doesn't want ceasefire, and his attacks in the West Bank is also one other way of preventing reaching a possibility of a ceasefire. And he has just appointed a military governor for Gaza. What does that mean? It means that he wants to sustain and keep occupation. But his main problem is that he wants to solve the problems of occupation by expanding occupation. In my opinion, he's dragging Israel and dragging his government and the whole population here into a real disaster in the long run.
Mustafa Bharguti, Secretary General of the Palestinian National Initiative, thank you for joining us on Al Jazeera.